So it shouldn't surprise us when the New York Times reported on January 16, 2010, that Alfred Lomas, former cocaine addict and gang member, had added a new niche to the Los Angeles tourism market: gang tours. A $65 ticket buys a 2-hour tour through what organizers call the history and origin of high-profile gangs and top crime scenes. The nonprofit tour, constructed to naturally view gang life while manipulated to ensure safety and comprehension, constitutes an intriguing communication act, a performance created by one culture to explain itself to another through observation. The controversial project is similar to ones used before in India and Brazil, which were decried as exploitative, notes the Irish Times of December 10, 2009, prompting the research question: how can the LA gang tours present a performative exploration of a subculture without commodifying the subculture? To answer, we will turn to Jane Turner's Dreams and Phantasms towards an ethnosenological reading of the intercultural theatrical event. Turner's research is appropriate, as it outlines what a legitimate intercultural performance needs to move beyond lecturing or entertainment for a spectator. Today, we will analyze Turner's article, apply it to the LA gang tours before finally looking at the implications of merging multicultural viewpoints through a performance. Turner's model outlines 4 levels of readability or meaning a performance must have to move beyond simple spectacle for a spectator: formal, narrative, anti-narrative, and ideological. First, a spectator must find formal readability in a performance. Formal readability is the cognitive recognition of a different culture within a performance. At this level, spectators gain a superficial and fragmented understanding of a different culture. For example, during segments of the show Dirty Jobs, we experience images and descriptions of weird jobs, and we understand a different blue-collar occupation exists, but do not change our stereotypes yet. Second, spectators must find a narrative structure within a performance. Narrative readability enables us to connect the disjointed depictions garnered in formal readability. Rather than being left with a plethora of multicultural images to negotiate haphazardly, a narrative structure can connect principles for easier understanding. For example, the documentary The March of the Penguins uses familiar narrative tools like plot and characters to explain to viewers a species completely foreign to our own. While it is unlikely anyone left theaters feeling like a penguin, spectators were able to empathize with themes of main character penguin overcomes hardships for family. Third, the performance must maintain anti-narrative disruptions. Turner notes, the spectator is invited to view the performance transculturally, not just as exotic spectacle. Jarring the audience from the storyteller reminds them that this is cultural education, not just entertainment. For example, shows like Nova often use narrative structures to explain themes like quantum physics. But when the show cuts to interviews with scientists explaining drier facts, we are reminded this is about education. Finally, the performance must have ideological readability. This means the performance must act as a metaphor for transcultural communication. For example, the film Remember the Titans doesn't literally tell audiences the solution to racism is desegregating football teams, but depicts football culture as a metaphor for society. Then, as Turner notes, even if the spectator does not have specific understanding of subculture, a form of knowledge will have been gained. Having understood what a performance needs to move beyond spectacle and achieving true cultural awareness of a subculture, we can apply Turner's model to the LA gang tours. First, LA gang tours demonstrate formal readability. The Daily Telegraph reports on January 22, 2010, the LA gang tours takes tourists to areas of South Central LA widely known as no-go areas. However, the tour isn't just about showing a different location. It's about showing a different culture. According to the tour website, participants not only see the LA County Jail and housing projects, but the birthplace of the infamous Crips gang and historic Black Panthers. Second, the LA gang tours demonstrate narrative structures for viewers. The previously cited Daily Telegraph notes the point of the LA gang tours is to trace the history and origin of LA gangs from the early 1900s to today. Lomas further states, this is a chance for us to tell the stories of individuals who have made an effort to change. By using a narrative structure, complete with characters that are identifiable, the LA gang tours hand their viewers a story. Third, LA gang tours depict clear anti-narrative disruptions. The previously cited New York Times points out organizers have worked out a ceasefire agreement with LA gangs in the area. The anti-narrative disruptions in this case are more about what the viewers fail to see, meaning spectators won't necessarily see the Wild Wild West shows they might have been expecting. The narrative is further disrupted when participants find out they have inadvertently become part of the community because their ticket money goes towards funding microloan and community development projects. Both clearly disrupt the expected narrative of a sightseeing venture. Finally, the LA gang tours demonstrate ideological readability. The synthesis of the knowledge garnered on the tour allows audiences to recontextualize their perceptions of gang life. NPR notes on January 22, 2010, at one point, a videotape about LA gangs was played. Noted one tourist, "It's all quite meta, watching a movie about LA gangs while on a show, or on a tour to show riders LA gangs." The recontextualization allows LA to start acting as a metaphor for greater social ills. Note the previously cited Irish Times, poverty, crime. These are global issues. Returning to our research question, how can the LA gang tours present a performative exploration of a subculture without commodifying the subculture? Our answer, by depicting a culture explained through a narrative but taught as a metaphor, the LA gang tours can create, as Turner notes, a new cultural territory, where cultural diversity in the world is celebrated, yet accessible to the spectator. This leads us to two implications: creating cultural common ground and reducing prejudice. First, geographical and social boundaries constrain non-tourists from observing South Central LA accurately. In her 2008 article, Ghetto Tourism and Voyeurism, Claire Williams notes, similar favela tours in Rio de Janeiro focused on creating a zoo of poverty. Her analysis of tourist perceptions after the experience noted they failed to break their Eurocentric gaze throughout the experience. Turner's model in application to LA gang tours is uniquely useful, as it demonstrates the breakdown of the ethnocentric gaze through the use of the narrative. Further, the breakdown of this ethnocentric gaze reduces ignorance, and therefore fears. We fear what we don't understand. Failing to change our frame of reference sacrifices understanding, which fuels fear. While depictions of middle-class America are often accurate to allow insight into the culture, depictions of South Central LA are often riddled with stereotypes and don't offer the realism that LA gang tours do. Noted one LA native and tour participant, Larry Stephen Landre, "I learned many things I did not know about my city. Feelings of emotion and unity." Today, we explored Turner's model for intercultural readability, applied it to the LA gang tours, and drew implications. Alfred Lomas knows that this is an unconventional approach to the war on gangs, noting, like the war in Vietnam, this is an unconventional war. A lot of words have been used to describe LA gang tours. Conventional is not one of them.
Yeah. How long is your crit, Guha?
940.
Try not quite 9.